Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about like the way I look at creativity and music, and then we'll touch into AI like halfway through, and we can do demos. We'll do all that stuff, and even go into Ableton if we want. But I just kind of wanted to like talk about the whole AI thing, and maybe so you guys can reframe if you're a little weary with it. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen that documentary, Everything is a Remix, but everything is a remix. Seriously, everything that came before it has influenced the things previous, or the things previously influenced this. So the core concepts, everything is built on what came before it. Nothing is unique. So everything's a copy. And then we take those copies, we transform them, and then we can combine those and create something quote unquote new, which is actually not really new. It's just influence from what came before. And yeah, so like the building blocks of that, the way I at least look at it, you can't have a breakthrough without the things that came before. And like without electricity, we couldn't have the light bulb, duh. And I really look at the way I've been influenced and like all the people that influenced me, like Beastie Boys and the Prodigy and Fatboy Slim. A lot of their music is in my sound. It's very like hip hop based, but it's also dance music, and their art influenced my art. And we'll touch more on IP later, but I feel like their IP is in the DNA of what makes my music. And this happens. So a lot of times, I mean, we can go through, I can play these, but thank you. Everyone credits like Elvis as the king of rock and roll, but he was actually influenced by Chuck Berry. And Chuck Berry was influenced by this dude, Bob Willis. And I can go through these like real quick. You just
ready, set, go, man, go.
Which sounds very similar to this. But he was also influenced by this dude, Bob Willis. So it's just like, if you think about it, it's like they're taking, and we'll get into the AI stuff, but they're taking data sets from the people before them and putting their own twist on top of it and creating their own remix of what was before it. And what I wanted to touch on now is like technology side of things. And so a lot of times in history, a lot of tech and things that have been looked down upon or weren't used actually were picked up by other people and brought into a new light and actually created new things. So this happens in culture. So like the Xerox Alto, this was one of the first computers. If you guys don't know this, Xerox, the copy machine company, made a computer with a mouse back in the day, back in 1973. And they just discarded it. They're like, oh, no one's ever going to use this. People will never have computers at home. And then Steve Jobs took it and he made the Apple Macintosh. And he saw the beauty of the mouse. He saw the beauty of the user interface that Xerox did. And he literally copied Xerox. That's kind of wild that he did that. But he ended up making the Macintosh and what I'm using right now to do this presentation, which is kind of crazy. It evolved into this. But this also happened in music. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with these, but I'm sure you've heard of an 808 and a 909. But these are the original drum machines. I'm from Chicago, and when I grew up in Chicago, there was house music, and it was super influenced by these machines right here. And the thing about these machines is they were initially made to replace live musicians. And that's like the thing that a lot of people are talking about with the AI stuff. They're just like, oh, it's going to take jobs. It's going to do all of that. And I have an argument on that, what I'll get to later, but people thought similar with this stuff. Oh, it's supposed to replace live musicians, but they don't sound like live musicians. They sound like something else. And so what they did is they got rejected. They got put into like thrift stores and pawn shops and all over Chicago. These were there for like $50. You could buy them back in the day. Now they're probably $3,000 each. I don't even know, but they were rejected. And then they took them, the artists of the day bought them from the pawn shops, and they were trying to make disco. So they were being influenced by the disco generation before them, but then they tried to make disco with these machines, and then it birthed house music and techno and all the dance music that we make today started on these machines that were just discarded. So they saw this technology and found a way to repurpose it and to start a new genre. Same with Xerox and Apple. I see the same here with Roland and the drum machines and 303s of the day. And what I think that they did is they hacked the machine. They used it for like a use that it wasn't like meant to be used for. And I think we can do that with all this AI stuff. I think we can do it with Ableton. One of my favorite things is to use all these tools how they're not intended to be used. And this is Marshall Jefferson, like way back in the day. He's one of like the pioneers of house music, early, what was it called? He had a party in New York. Do you guys know what it was called? It was Paradise Garage. But in this photo, you see him using a 909 and a 303. And I'll show you a little bit. So just playing a little clip of this. You guys, I'm sure you're familiar with the sound of acid house, but when I play this, you'll hear it. But this initial machine that I showed from the previous slide was the 303. And this was made to emulate a bass player, a guitar bass player for like rock and disco and stuff at the time. But it didn't sound like that. And then they started to hack the machine and made sounds like this. That doesn't sound like a bass guitar to me, but it sounds like acid house. But I mean, we know acid house now because they hacked the machine and they created a new genre. Going on to more like progress into dance music. Like I said earlier, the Prodigy really influenced me. Fatboy Slim really influenced me. They were very sample based in how they made their music. But the cool thing is they had to find a way to use the tech of the time. So this is Liam Howlett from the Prodigy. He's got an SP1200 up there, early version of Ableton. But that's like it was a little sampler that could only sample a few seconds of audio. And so what they did, a lot of the people that used these early samplers, they only could put stuff on a floppy disk. So you only had a little bit of time to fit music on there.
I saw a recent old Prodigy show.
Yeah.
Liam Howlett's got a floppy disk between his
Damn.
That's
That's amazing. Also, if anyone wants to chime in at any time, please. That's all. Thank you. And
it was so cool. Like you can see, he's kind of got this little shitty grin too the whole time.
and that's so cool. Like he's in, I don't know what year it was, but recent times he.
Gosh, I want to say 94.
Oh, okay.
Like it was really, really old.
So he could have were there like computers out at the time that he could have used to perform with, maybe, or was he?
I didn't see a computer up there. It looked like one of the old Emu Sam.
Yeah, probably this one right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. That's so dope.
He had the actual box of floppies.
And it's so cool. He's using like it's like he's using a floppy disk like a record. Like a DJ would use a record and loading it up real time. It's so cool. And again, he was like hacking it. And with the space on those floppy disks, there wasn't much time for samples. And so what they did is they took a record and they sped it up to like 45. So if you hit the two sides of the record, there's a 33, which the record plays at normal speed, sounds normal. But if you push 45, it plays however many times faster. But it's higher pitched, it's faster. But what they did is they sampled it so you can get a sample, like it samples faster. But then they put it into the machine and slowed it down. So now you can fit more samples within time. So it was kind of cool. And I'll do a quick little example of that. This is Liam Howlett's, what is it, Roland M. It was like a sampler, W30. So this is just kind of going through the samples. All these little teeny sample pieces are what made up early sample music.
Everybody is in the place. Everybody is in the place.
Breakbeat.
Let's go. Let's go.
Little let's go. So he's sequencing notes, but he's also playing single samples as well. And he's using the internal sequencer of that to sequence it all together to perform it. And all it's doing is playing little teeny snippets of music.
Let's go. Everybody is in the place. 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 Let's go.
I mean, that's early rave music right there. And a lot of times I take for granted, like this limitations are a good thing. Like we live in this era where we can have our whole entire sample folder on the side, and now we have splice there and presets and all these things in it. You can get kind of fatigued from all the choices. And I'm about to show you AI, which is even more. But it's kind of cool to see the limitations that these people had and what they did with those limitations. And I would even just advise you guys as like a tip, just try to give yourself limitations if you can, because you can get decision fatigue. So cool. We're going to talk about this thing called the latent space. And this is a big AI tech nerd term, but it's kind of the space between two things. So what it is it's a tool used in a way it wasn't meant to be used, and the new latent space can be discovered. So the space in between can be discovered. So if the sampler, you only had a few seconds of time, they sped up those records to find that latent space to create something new. And I wanted to talk about how I've applied it to my career and how I found the latent space in my career. So I was one of the early DJs in this genre called EDM trap. And one of the things we did early on, because there wasn't really any rules to trap at the time, we were trying to figure it out. So we sampled records like old hardstyle records. So this is an old hardstyle record called Recalled to Life. I'll play a little snippet. So what we did at that time was like take synths from like that super hard aggressive hardstyle, but then take the drums like the Lex Luger drum kits and a lot of like the trap drums and the 808s. Again 808 comes back into the fold. The subs and the 808s from like early trap music, and blend those two together. So like we took like similar drums to this song.
I got a whole lot of money, bitches counting for me. Bottle key popping that water bad whole jacket. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. It's a party, it's a party,
it's a party. So we took the synths from Dutch Master and those type of hardstyle synths, mixed them with the Grove Street Party type drums, and then made a song like this Total Recall one. You get the idea. And then that we started creating more original music based on those elements. So instead of using a sample like Recalled to Life, let's go find a preset or design a sound in Serum or use Nexus and find these corny EDM trance synths and use those, but with like the hip hop trap drums. And it was kind of the early birth of like what trap music is. And then it evolved to people like Flume, who took that sound and like he softened it up. Similar type drums, like hip hop drums, but then like put strings and like softened up the sound. Yeah, fire. So it just keeps evolving, and like there's people in the trap genre now that were influenced from us, like ISOxo and Knock 2, that are doing like crazy hard trap again. So like it always goes up and down. And the one thing that is they're like finding that latent space in between that I keep wanting to bring up. Like there's a way to find that in everything. So yeah, we're going to talk to the evolution of technology. We're going to talk about AI. So the reason why I keep saying latent space is because that is that space in between 2 points. You can have between hardstyle synths and hard trap drums is this weird little latent space of EDM trap that was invented. And I want to talk about like generative AI and just kind of give you guys an idea of how it works. Because I think a lot of people think that there's music inside of Suno or in Udio or in all of these things. There's zero music inside of that. What there is a whole shitload of text that understands what music is what genres are what elements are what. And I'm going to show you first with image generation. So for them to train an image model, have you guys ever used any of the image generators out there? Yeah? Like you've made a turtle with a hot dog on its head or something? Like, I mean, that latent space between a turtle and a hot dog that's what the generative image was. But what it is they feed it a shit ton of images. So for this instance, there's a cat. So let's give it 10 billion pictures of a cat. Describe the color of the cat, the whatever it is, all the attributes that make that one photo. So it understands that, but they do it for millions of photos. But they add a little bit of noise to it, then feed it back through the model, add a little bit more noise to it, as you can see, more and more noise until there's nothing describable. And then the model understands, okay, that's what a cat is. All this data gets fed into this model. And then now when I type the word, I want a cat with sunglasses on it, what it does is it starts removing noise here. It starts to take away the noise, take away the noise, take away the noise. And it just keeps doing the same loop it did to train the model to remove the noise every time. And then finally you get a cat with sunglasses on it. I'll show you with music. It's kind of similar, but I'll kind of give you the visual perspective of what happens. So same thing in audio. This is, you can't see it here, but in this it says banjo. It talks that there's like a banjo in this. But what is fed into the model is it gets a representation of the audio. I'm trying to describe audio visually, but it gets a description of the audio, and it knows, okay, this is a banjo. It might know what key it's in. It might know whatever. It's country, soul, all of that stuff. And the same thing happens. They feed it through the model, feed it through the model, feed it through the model, add more and more noise until it's incoherent. And then now when I type in, I want a banjo, there's 50 million representations of what banjo is, country, etc., all of that now I can spit it out. So when I type in my prompt, I want a banjo, that comes out. So this is called conditioning a model. And it's kind of cool. I'll show you in a minute with Suno. You can condition on your own music. So you can upload, let's say you just have a simple chord progression. You can put that into the model, and it's conditioning the model. Okay, I want this chord progression. I want this style. And then it can go inside and then do the same thing, take a bunch of noise, and generate out a version of that song.
Reverse engineering it.
Yeah.
Generation with AI audio.
Yeah.
Rather than starting with individual instruments and elements and building and then mixing and mastering, it's going backwards.
Yeah, it is. It's so crazy because that's the wild thing for me. It's you're making a song from a completed song initially, and it's funny if you guys have dove into Suno, and I'll show you guys in a minute. But it's all reduction. So it's like you generate a song that's quote unquote complete, but you're like, okay, I need the stems now, and then it separates it into stems. Okay, I need the keys. Like you.
That makes sense why the stems are still. I mean, it's great, but still not like perfect when they're separated.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they would be with Suno because I didn't realize that it was reverse engineering.
Yeah,
It makes more sense. There's still those artifacts in there.
And the thing that's happening now with a lot of this generative stuff is you can condition even tighter on the model. So all of these things like are going tighter and tighter. So now we're able to generate a stem. If you want a banjo, we now understand what a banjo looks like in the spectrum like this, and now you can generate it. So I'll show you guys in a minute how you can actually build a song track by track like we do in the OG way of making music. Yeah, so that's kind of the breakdown of how it's done. But with anything, and I really want to stress this, like I said, a turtle with a hot dog on it or whatever, like with any tool, Ableton or not, you can make what they call AI slop now. And this is the thing that sucks is you're giving the power to everybody to create right now. So there's going to be a ton of slop out there. But the beauty is that like we as music producers, if we understand how to use these new tools, we can now put our creative sauces on top of this to make sure that this AI slop does not happen. But like one of the famous one is Shrimp Jesus. This is someone prompted salmon swimming in a river, and it's cooked salmon, or not cooked salmon, but it's an actual piece of salmon. And then, of course, the AI 7 fingers, 12 fingers thing that happens. But again, a lot of it was like early, the Will Smith eating pasta was one too. Like, but like, I don't know if you guys have seen like Sora and the image generators of today, but like the Will Smith eating pasta was like a year ago or a little bit more. I don't know. But like, think about that. Like the image and the video generative stuff is like probably leading where things are at, but the music is soon to follow. And that's just why I'm imploring you to just kind of like figure out how, if you want to use this, you can. You don't have to use any of this, but I'm just trying to show you like that maybe there's ways you can use this in your workflow. But yeah, and yeah, even with humans, they can make slop too. Anyway, that's human slop. Sorry, Katie. But you can make slop with anything. It doesn't have to be AI. I just think AI gets the like gets shit on. And I think a lot of times people are like, I don't know, there's this thing called the Luddite mindset, and it's like people that are afraid of technology, but it came from this term like in the 1800s, and there was these guys that were afraid that the looms that were making fabrics were going to take their jobs, so they went and they smashed all of the fabric making looms, and that's what the term Luddite comes about from. But they apply it to everything in technology right now. But I see this a lot online. A lot of people that haven't tried the tools, they come at it with a Luddite mindset. They want to, smash it online and are afraid of it taking their jobs. And I still want to implore you that it's not people. I don't know, people using this in a proactive way. It won't take your job.
I feel like that's the same mentality as like when people are mad at immigrants for taking
Yes.
the immigrants are not taking your jobs.
Yep.
Your jobs are being given away
Yes.
by your bosses. So
Yes.
technology is fault. It's like the people taking advantage of the technology.
Yes.
Don't get mad at the technology.
Yeah.
What are the people that are taking advantage?
And get mad at capitalism too, because that's the funny thing is, like, usually it's like the surface level thing that people want to point at is the problem. It's immigrants, it's AI, it's this, but like there's a deeper rooted thing amongst everything, and so it's
I think like AI, it's not the technology itself, it's like the people behind it. There's obviously some really good stuff that AI is being useful, but there's also some like really scary stuff that
Yeah.
people are using it for.
What are you scared of? What are you seeing that's scary?
Well, I mean, there's stuff like people are using it like for military stuff,
Mhm.
Killing people with AI. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you mentioned like Deepfakes.
Yeah, the deepfakes too.
Like, there's all kinds of stuff that's like kind of quite scary. It could be used for nefarious purposes.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also some really useful stuff.
Yeah.
That could be, I think you just got to kind of be like, it's not the technology itself, it's like how it's being used.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a much bigger discussion of like how AI is being used in the world and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like what we were saying with like the immigrants and people pointing at AI. Oh, that's the problem. It's like, it's the people using the tools. It's like, you could have a knife and butter your toast, or you could stab me with it, and I can't be like, let's get rid of all knives or whatever. I think that it's about the people who have malicious intent that are using these tools maliciously, and that's been the history forever. Like when stocks come out, people want to trade them illegally and fuck people. Like there's so many things that when technology advances, people use it nefariously. The thing that sucks with this is it's the lowering the bar. All of those other things before, you needed to have like a little bit more of a skill set to use it, and now this is like in everyone's hands. And so the thing that's sad is when the masses get stuff, they do malicious things. So, yeah.
I've heard that like, is it Sora, like the TikTok clone? I've heard that it costs like OpenAI, for every video someone generates, it costs them $5.
It might. I don't know.
Insane. So
Yeah.
it's just loads of AI slop on there, isn't there?
There's a ton of slop on there, and I don't know how much it costs to do a lot of that stuff. The one thing I will say on the AI side of the negativity is when you train a lot of these models, especially OpenAI's ChatGPT and stuff like this, it takes a lot of compute to train the model initially. But when you infer, which means just like you would do a Google search or whatever, just ask it something, it to give you the result is lighter than like a Google search coming back on compute. And like when YouTube first came out, to serve someone a video in those early days of bad compression was just eating up the environment. And YouTube's been around for decades. Think about how much that has really been like really taking on the environment over those past decades. And think about how many more users are using TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. All of these things are just burning up servers. When you do apples to apples with that, the AI, at least today, hasn't had as much of an impact on environmental and technological side of things. I just want you to know that like the model side of training does take a lot of compute, but the inference, just asking for it, doesn't take a lot. Like there's a voice cloning app that I helped make that you can just do here on your laptop. You don't need any servers or anything, but to train the models for that, it takes a little bit. But and I'm down to keep talking about this, by the way. So yeah, fear. That's what we were just talking about. Let's talk about it. I wanted to just like kind of bring this up too, because when we talk about IP and those type of things around it, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's AI is trained on my art, and they're afraid that it's taking from them. But I've just kind of brought up I wanted to bring back to the Elvis side of things and those type of things. Like everything was influenced on what came before it. And I wanted to bring up this thing with Steve Jobs about how he openly admits, using the quote,
It comes down to trying to expose yourself to the best things that humans have done, and then try to bring those things in to what you're doing. I mean, Picasso had a saying, he said, good artists copy, great artists steal. And we have, always been shameless about stealing great ideas. And I think part of what made the Macintosh great was that the people working on it were musicians and poets and artists and zoologists and historians who also happen to be the best computer scientists in the world.
I just wanted to make point of that he was talking about how they stole all these ideas. They, like I showed you earlier, they stole the whole entire Xerox mentality, stealing, quote unquote. We can say they stole it. They were inspired by it. They took it and they repurposed it and created the Macintosh. But I'm advanced already on the slide. But then later, once the iPhone came out, Steve Jobs had this quote and he was like, I'm going to destroy Android because it's a stolen product. I'm willing to go thermonuclear war on this. And this is just a psychological thing that happens called loss aversion. And it's just when we do it, we think we're the only ones and we hold it precious. But when we have an idea, we think that it's our only idea. But when we take it from someone else, when people take from someone else, they don't really realize it. They only notice it when they're being taken from. And I feel like that's a lot in AI. Like people are saying that and they don't really thoroughly understand that it's not necessarily taking your idea. It's training on everything. And I can talk about that in a moment. But if I was in this mindset of loss aversion, like I brought up earlier, there's these kids, ISOxo and Knock 2 right now, who've like talked to me. They're like, oh my God, we used to listen to your music all the time. And they made their music right now. They were influenced by me and what I did through my trap era. But like, I'm not looking at them like, oh, you took from me or whatever. I'm looking at them like, oh my God, you're passing the torch on, just as much as if I were to talk to the Beastie Boys and be like, you guys inspired me so much. And I feel like that's what a lot of this is we're influenced from the past. We put our stamp on it and it keeps going forward.
And I give you all of that.
Yeah.
The thing about AI is that it's actually getting to something about you that you don't even know. You're not even aware of. The things that make Flosstradamus,
Mm-hmm.
your sense of taste,
Yeah.
given enough information on that, those patterns are going to be teased out.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that we're taking from you, we're copying you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that feels much more ominous about the application of AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than just, training on all the data and coming up with something new. Yeah, I want people to kind of go forward and build new. You're right. You stand on the shoulders of giants.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah.
On the other side of it, though, that AI eventually will start feeding us exactly what we think we want, and our worlds get much more narrow as a result.
Have you used social media over the past 5 years? Because that's exactly what it's doing to all of us.
Stay away from it. I mean,
But yeah,
I've been accused in the last week of living under a rock for reasons, so, yeah.
You were the only person that knows about a floppy disk in here. So yeah, I understand. No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
Man, yeah, I get you.
But no, it's true, man. And on that side of the evil side of AI, it's true. Those algorithms, they know how to serve all the good, and then they serve you as something that makes you a little bit sad, and then you get an ad, and there's a lot of negativity in how they. Oh yeah, definitely. And then it also serves you all your stuff on your side, so you don't want to. It doesn't serve you my perspective, and then you and I get in an argument, and then we start whatever. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's like it's dividing us, and that's a whole other thing. I'm not here to talk about that AI, but I'm done. Yeah.
They always tend to send you like the most kind of extreme thing, won't they?
Oh.
Watching along the ride.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I'm just looking at it quickly.
That's good. Yeah, and I mean,
We train into these like more the positive algorithms.
yeah, that's the thing. We have the ability to influence them. Hopefully, sadly, like my parents, they're big Fox News watchers, and I have other friends' parents who are CNN watchers, and they both it's just constant fear on the news side of things, and they can't change that algorithm other than changing the channel. And I see that like my parents and their friends who have two different opposing views are always against each other too. We do have the ability to train our algorithm, hopefully. So yeah, let's talk about using AI as a tool. Let's get positive for a second. This is So this was the thing that we did a few years ago. So Major Lazer has a song called Lean On, and I'm on the same management as Major Lazer and this girl Mo who sang on Lean On. So we kind of did a use case of this. We got Mo's permission. We trained a model on her voice. We hired a Spanish singing singer, and we redid Lean On in Spanish, and we redid it in French, and we're going to do Hindi, and we're going to do all these things. And the idea is like, okay, how can we use these new AI tools to now empower? How can we make things a world song? How can we make it so, yeah, your hit might affect someone and they can resonate with it in one country, but if they can resonate with it lyrically, that's a whole other thing. Like the song you played earlier, like if I could maybe understand it, like it's in a different way, maybe that'd be great too. Like if it came as like English version or whatever, just like other ways to do it. It actually sounded dope the way it was. I don't want you to change it, but this is kind of a thing that we did. I'll just show you a preview of this. And again, Latent Space. This is the Latent Space version of Lean On.
Recuérdalo, si tú y yo seguimos hoy caminando. Lo único que hacemos es cuidarnos en una a otra. La noche encender, audaces y jóvenes, soplando el viento que nos lleva a lo lejos. Besos, vuelan hoy, siempre hay alguien quien apoyarnos. Besos, vuelan hoy, porque hay alguien quien apoyarnos.
Any Spanish speakers in here? No one? I was gonna say, is it doing okay? But yeah, just trying to use these tools in a positive way, trying to find ways to empower humans in the process, because we hired a human singer to sing the parts, and then we took the clone. So we're using some of AI, but we're also using the old tools as well. And so I just kind of want to end on this so we can talk about how to use this stuff in our process. I'm sure you guys have seen or heard all the AI 50 Cent stuff that's out there, but I'll show you like the latent space between that. So they took 50 Cent's lyrics, and then they took the vibe of soul music, and then this is kind of the new latent 50.
Many men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be.
So back to the latent space, like from 50 Cent lyrics from, I don't know, 2000 to some 1960s era soul, like there's like a latent space between those. There's this thing that this person who created this, quote unquote created it, they thought of the idea to take, oh, what if I take these lyrics and this vibe and make this thing? And so that's kind of what this is. It's more of just exploring that latent space. And then, yeah, I was going to just show you one other thing in the AI space, and then we can start to dive in, and I want to like try some stuff. Actually, real quick, if anyone wants to like airdrop me like a voice note that you did, or like a demo or a little sketch that you have, we can like remix this live if you're okay with that. Anyone can do it. My computer's studio computer. If you want to do it, I'll accept it. If you're willing to throw it in the evil AI machine and see what happens. You can airdrop me. Do you have like a voice note or that you did? Like even like a melody, or I just wanted it like the most raw thing that we can have. If you have something. It can be a voice. It can be you humming a melody. It can be anything. It can be a whip too. Like if you had like a little demo too, if you want to do an actual track. Hey, okay, thank you. Yeah, we can do anything with that too. Yeah, like it's and yeah, it already slaps. It's a banger. So yeah, if you just try to send it to the studio computer, I'll accept it. And when I do that, I'll just kind of show you like one last evolutionary step on how this ties into Ableton. There we go. I got it. 15. Oh shit, I'm taking too long. We're doing too many questions. All right, so this real quick is there's this new era of AI, and I was telling this to Dan, so I just wanted to like tease this really quick. So this is called MCP, which is a model context protocol. I'm getting super heady, but what MCPs are is a way for a LLM like Claude here in this case it can now talk to Ableton because Ableton has all the back end, like it's all XML files, it's all of that type of stuff on the back end of Ableton, that this can actually write all of the code to then control your Ableton. So I'm showing you guys this, and like this is like the future.
This is the problem with training data. Udio and I were actually talking about this months ago. We actually had it working where you could do this, but like, it doesn't know jack shit about Ableton. Okay, so it can turn the lay dial, but it doesn't do it meaningfully.
Right.
We need more training data.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can nerd out. I'm here all night, so yeah, we can do it. I just wanted to show you this, and like it's of course a sped up video and stuff, but it's like just kind of showing you of where things are going in a way, and it's a little scary. I understand, but they said, oh, I'm gonna pause it. Oops, I don't know what I just did. Sorry, I was trying to pause it because it's super fast video, but they said make a 80s lush synthwave track, and then it controls the back end of Ableton and does all this coding, does all of the XML, JSON stuff. So it's just writing all the code, making all of the tracks. And of course the track's kind of mid, AI slop, if you will. Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to like say, and this is kind of what to touch what you were saying to like, this is AI slop in my opinion. Track's corny. We can all make better songs in 2 seconds, probably faster than this video was on Ableton. We can make the exact same thing. But I just wanted to show like, yeah, these AI models aren't here today. I'm sure this is the sign of what the future will be, but maybe there's ways you can use these as an assistant and like to help you in your process in a way. And if it can understand Ableton now in this way, this is just a demo, it can do other things. So like maybe there's something where it just like groups all your like you said your session was super unorganized that you did, but like maybe there's a way to add this as like a little chat on the side. So like, yeah, you arrange your song, you get it ready, but you're like, I need to put it in my groups, do all of those things. All of those meaning, like those little tasks that take a little bit of time, like it's a way to do that a little bit faster. So like you don't have to say, give me a synthwave pop song, but like maybe there's a way it's like organize all my drums, bass, whatever. It's going to understand Ableton so much that you can actually work with it in a way that can help you and empower you. And that's why I want to just like keep stressing that. It's like, yeah, you can tell it to make you a corny ass song, but you can also make a dope ass song and then have this do some of that meaningful stuff so you can stay in a flow state of just creation. And that's like the main thing that I love about these AI tools is like, I barely hit these walls of like, oh, I got to EQ this and do all these things. And like, it just takes a lot of time. Like if AI can handle some of the mundane tasks, I feel like it can help us be in a flow state and just keep creating. So yeah, I wanted to go to Suno. We'll throw the happy birthday thing in there. I got a couple more, I can answer a couple more questions in a second too, if you guys want, while this is loading in here. I accepted it twice. Try it one more time. Yeah, you killed it. No, that's good. Yeah, try sending it one more time. And then in the interim, I'll just like show. Okay, here, accept. Is it not? There we go. Oh, I got it like 3 times. All right. Hold on, I got to change it to an MP3 because it's dumb. Cool. So let's explore some quick little ways of how to use this, and I'll upload this. And while it's uploading, I can go through a couple of things. So the few ways I use things like Suno is to let me just get this converted here. I'll upload this real quick, and then we'll go into talking about it. Boop. Let me see. Cool. All right, it's uploading. All right. But yeah, so how I use it is like, there's a few different ways of using things like this, but one is like, I have a bunch of whips, some work in progresses that I've made over the years. I've been doing Flosstradamus for 20 years now. It's crazy, old man. But I have a bunch of stuff that like, maybe I pitched to someone and never got taken or all of that. But now there's multiple things I can do with it. One is, let's say I made a really dope intro and I just didn't get the drop right. You can actually use this to try out like drop iteration ideas to like actually help you complete something. You can also, just like the AI 50 Cent, you can reimagine it. So let's say K-pop is popping. I made a bunch of K-pop demos. They never came out. But then, I don't know, trap country is the next thing. You can now reimagine your K-pop song in trap country like instantly. And then with all these tools, you can then now get the stems and you can get all the elements and the MIDI and everything and bring it back into Ableton. So try to do it as quick as possible with this. What are we going to convert this happy birthday to? Drum and bass? Drum and bass. So it's like jump up, wonky, and I'll say wobble. Bass. We'll see. I can show you guys this other thing called personas here in a second, but we'll try it with this one. All right, it's going right now. We're here in the happy birthday drum and bass version. So again, here's her voice note. I'm sorry for putting you on blast.
Can I just happy birthday?
Okay, cool. That's the original, and here's the.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Floss. Happy birthday to you.
So that one. Out of all. I was hoping that someone would have sent me like a song, like something. They're like, "Oh, this is." I'm like, "Yo, AI isn't slop," and I'm like,
Happy birthday.
But yeah. Yeah, I got you. Give her 5% though. So okay, cool. That's the. That's one way of doing it. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go in and actually, since we're in this this playlist, which is kind of crazy, I have here. So I want to show you guys how I sound design with Ableton or with Ableton, whatever this shit's called that I'm using, Suno. So what I did is I took. Is this it? Cool. I took this guitar line, which is just a splice loop. Real quick, I'll show you how I did this. So took this splice loop, but I wanted it to have like a 80s hair metal type vibe. So I uploaded this as a persona. And what this is, here, I'll play it real quick. So what it did is I uploaded that as like a persona. So I'm pretty much using it as an amp modeler in this case. But let's say you have like a cool like melody line, but you have like a sound that you're trying to go toward. You can upload that as a persona. And what I was showing you earlier in the little demo is like conditioning it. I don't know if you remember with all the, like when I was showing about the AI training, you can take a sound that has a specific tone, like an amp sound, like it's a guitar, and then you can upload yours and you can put that tone over the top of your guitar. So that happens with vocals, it can happen with samples, it can even happen with whole songs. You can literally take the DNA of something and mix it with something else. So let's say you have two different demos, you have your country trap song and your K-pop song. You can then blend the two together. You can condition it between the two. And just so I can show you real quick. So I took that guitar line and I took the other one. So again, this guitar line, put this as a persona. And then now, oops. I'm trying to see which one. I like too many of this. So this is the original. So I took those. So it's kind of like taking it's like kind of taking a sample that I have and then taking something else and like finding that middle ground, that latent space between the two of them. And we can get more nerdy with all this, and I'm going to give you guys Suno code so you can play around with it. But these sliders down here can help you condition between the two different sounds, and you can find a cool middle ground. And then I keep evolving it. And then I put this bass tripper persona in, which is a drum and bass one. And now I'll find one of these is the one here. I think it's one of these two. I did so many, I'm sorry. I wasn't, but. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, here we go. like taking all the elements together and mixing it up and stuff. So kind of wanted to show you that real quick. And then real quick, I'll show you one other like evolution of this stuff, and then maybe we can go into a couple more. So I had this was me beatboxing. Again, I'll dox myself. So this was just me making a dumb idea in my head. I had an idea. We got them like. Hear that bass? So that was just an idea I had in my car. I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to record it real quick. I recorded it. And this is one thing I want to share with you guys on how to use this. And we can, when you start doing the production stuff, I can show you more how to use this. But my idea was to end up turning it into like a trap song. But instead of going prompt and give me a trap song, I started it out and I was like, all right, let me make it like hyper pop because I wanted it to be a little tighter. So first thing I generated was a hyper pop song.
We got 'em like.
So it took my beatbox, made it that. And like, I know we all have voice notes all the time. Like, if anything, the cool thing about this is like just taking these like weird little ideas we have and just like getting them into something more formative, and then we can then evolve it later. And so then that turned into.
We got 'em like.
I'll skip ahead because we're low on time. Same melody.
We got 'em like.
So now I'm going to show you one other thing. So now we can do this thing called get stems. Yeah, ask me.
What kind of prompt do you use for this?
So the main thing that I'm using, a lot of times people think it's the text prompt. It's the audio prompts. I'm using like audio to influence audio. So I'm like using like personas. That's the one thing that I think we have as like musicians that we can do. Like a lot of times, I mean, my prompt is, I don't even know what it was. I seriously, the first one was hyper pop influences was the first one. But and then, yeah, this one here, actually, I don't know if you can see here. I'll try to maximize it. Like, oh my goodness. There it goes. I said, genre, a fusion of festival trap and modern EDM with aggressive hip hop roots, blah, blah, blah. I use GPT to help with this one, but like, it's a long, I put like Dolby Atmos, all of these things. But again, like, if you're going to say, give me a hot dog, like a turtle with a hot dog on it, whatever, it's going to give you that. But if you like really work with this stuff, it can give you cool stuff back. But the main thing is like uploading audio, because audio can guide it to get it out of that corny, just give me this. We can upload, like, we can make our music personas so it'll sound like us, but then we can also take a chord progression or something simple like these beatboxes or happy birthday and like evolve it into something else. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the one thing then, I'll just show you real quick. You can do in Suno here, get stems in MIDI. And so what this is going to do is it's going to split that song I just did into 12 stems. So it's going to give me up to 12 stems. If there are certain elements that aren't in there, it's going to take them out. But once these are rendered, we can take those to Ableton, which is the next step of where we're all going to be taking this stuff and chop it all up and do all of those things. And I mean, it's technically, we could just download this MP3 and then put it in Ableton and separate it with their new stem separator. But let me take it over to this thing called Suno Studio that we got going right now. And
Doesn't it really just come down to the artistry is what you have to say? I mean,
with everything, this or not, yeah.
It
Yeah.
just amplifies that even more, right? I mean, it is, you can express musically, you can express vocally.
Mm-hmm.
Its intention, yes, I can type a prompt and get a sound out, but
Right.
It's got to be more than that.
Yep.
In order for it to be memorable, to be lasting, to be valuable.
1,000%. It's so funny because I've been working on Suno for the past 3 years. I've heard so many fucking songs and I work with so many people. And the thing that I've noticed is, well, there's two things. One is you can make good enough stuff here, but it's not going to just like be unique. Like I typed this to my manager the other day, but what did I say? Oh, I was like, it's AI derangement syndrome. So I think there's this thing that's happening, and I'm so guilty of it too. Like, I mean, shit, we made Happy Birthday, a drum and bass song in 4 seconds. So like you get this thing where you're like, oh my God, this is this crazy powerful thing. And then you don't like listen. And I think that we might even get that with our own music. There's times where I made these demos. I'm like, this is the shit on Ableton, fully on Ableton. This is the shit. And I wake up the next day and it's like, like it's just so bad. We get it with everything, but with this, because it's such an instant gratification, we're like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But the beautiful thing with all of us here is we're using Ableton as well, that we can then maybe take the MIDI, or we could even just go in and write new lines over the top of this stuff, and we can actually arrange it. AI can be input, output. Give me a turtle with a hot dog on it. It gives you that. But then you can also like take it into Photoshop and finesse it or whatever too. So I agree with you on that. It's what we do after this. This might take us from step A to G, but what's going to take us to Z? And yeah. 5 minutes, perfect. Okay, so I'll just show you real quick, and this is Suno Studio, and I'll show you 2 quick things with this. So I told it to separate stems. Here's all the stems here on the side. Now I can insert all these stems into my session. So I just clicked insert, and now my song is broken down into all these stems. So if I go through, I can click on it. I got that little synth line, whatever, and the one thing I would implore you guys to do that when you are using Suno is it's still not like super on the grid. So no matter what, run your song through Suno Studio and then just export it, because this helps it get time aligned. It'll save you time of like putting it into Ableton and then having to like warp every second. This will do that. But the other cool thing with Suno Studio is what you were talking about earlier about how now you can do individual instruments. So let's say like in this little synth drop area here, just like you were to create like a MIDI region, you can now prompt in here. So we can say, I don't know, give me a genre and an instrument, somebody, I don't know, whatever. Shakers, okay. So I'm clicking on percussion here. I'm gonna say shakers. Cool, shakers. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this track underneath the drums here. And then I'm gonna solo the drums. So it just is like in context with that. So now I hit create, and it's going to create a region here of just shakers. So while that's rendering here, it's going to be context aware of what's above it too, which is kind of cool. And this is another thing I like to use this for, which I'll show you in just a second, is I'll put in some of my demos that I have certain elements for. I'm like, oh, I need like a string section, or I need something else. You can actually put it in here and it'll generate really cool context aware to your song stems that then you can export and put those into your session. So here's our shakers. These are pretty intense shakers, but let's see. And then they should be in. So it generates 2, so we can listen to the second one here. And then with the drums. So it's sick. And so like those right there, let's say I wanted just that first shaker one, you can just right click on it and you can say download wave, and now I can have that shaker. So let's say I made this whole song in Ableton, I put it in here and I just needed that shaker stem. You can put it in here and then just download that shaker stem and put it in your Ableton session. It's just what you select. Yeah. So like I just selected that area, and so that'll do that. And that also goes with MIDI as well. So like, let's say we want this like synth line. If I cut this little synth line out here, and we also added all Ableton key commands into this, by the way. So like Command E will make that synth section. I can say get MIDI, and that synth line now is MIDI. So now I can import that into Ableton and then have Serum play it or something like that if I want. So let's just say it came from my mouth, me beatboxing, making these like tones or whatever. I seriously was just like making a voice note one day. I didn't have time to sit in front of Ableton. I made it and I evolved it on my phone while I was just chilling. And then now I can take it and then evolve it even more and take it to Ableton and produce it out. And then one last thing, Dan, and then you can kick me off. I'm sorry. There is, yeah. There's a mobile app. I honestly don't use it though. I use like just Chrome on my phone with Suno. The mobile app's kind of mid. They need to fix it a little bit. Not that I know of. I don't even use the mobile app at all. Really, I don't know. But Studio is on the mobile web. You can use it on that. But it's so hard to do waves and stuff. Like you might as well go to your desktop. So real quick, I was talking about whips earlier, like demos. So my friend did this top line. It's really dope. I was about to throw it all away. It's just a cool top line that he pitched and it never came out. Broken. Thought that I was broken. So what we did earlier was just selected a little region, but I wanted to show you really quick what's really cool with this. We can like select the entire region underneath that, and I can say, why isn't it let me do this here? Oh, there we go. Sorry. This is kind of cool. I'll just do like, I don't know, I'll pick strings and say like 5-piece quartet. Cool, whatever. Okay, cool. So what it's going to do is be context aware to his vocal performance. And now it's going to give me some really cool string elements that I could then chop up and put into Ableton and like make a new song with, hopefully. I just said 5-piece quartet. It's going to generate the whole stem underneath, context aware to the way he sings his melodies. And once it renders here, we'll hear it. And yep, you can convert it to MIDI, yeah. And I even use Suno sometimes to convert stuff that I have in waveform to MIDI. So I'll just like upload something there.
How is it compared to converting something to MIDI in Ableton?
It's better. I've tested a bunch of them. Yeah, it's really good. I don't think it's going to get to performance. I think like, I mean, yeah, you could perform with it now, but the goal that they don't want to beat Ableton. They don't want to make it anything like that. They just want to make something that, let's say you generate it and then you can just edit it and expand on it a little bit, but it's not, they're not trying to make it like a DAW competitor. It's just like an assistant. You're saying like generate real time audio. Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant like performing with this. No, it's getting like, I don't know if Suno can do it, but there are some out there that are really fast, and yeah, it's gonna happen pretty real time. So like, yeah, it's pretty quick, especially when like compute gets better too, like graphics cards and stuff like that. Like pretty soon you'll be able to use this real time and almost like an auto tune or something like that. Well, this is, I'll just show you this one too. This is I did like a 5-piece quartet thing here. I'll play this one. It looks like it's kind of mid though, but we'll hear the one I did earlier. I said, there's 2 different options every time, but you can keep generating more options. So
fearful. I used to be fearful.
that one's kind of mid, but we'll go here. I did this one, the same thing. I did orchestra. My bad.
Fearful. I used to be fearful.
And why I'm showing this is because I started out with the strings, and then I was like, oh, let's add some more layers. So then I added like a UK bass, UK garage bass line, and then like dubstep drums. You can add multiple genres. You can prompt any genre and build new genres out of it.
See what it's like being so damn paralyzed. Before you rolled up, I was about to throw it all away. Looking back now, taught me that people can change.
And this is all just based on what his lyrics were.
Broken, thought that I was broken, till the second I met you. Never knew what love.
And I'll skip forward, so like where I added the UK bass line.
Woke up in a world that don't rest.
So that's the UK bass line. You can't really hear it with these. Oh, I keep clicking on this one.
Every night, everything's go. One touch, I'm feeling high. Two hours gonna die.
Drums.
Time on my need think goes. I won't get it, you goes. I won't let it, you top of mine.
You get the idea. And we can talk later on other things, but there's 2 other modes in Suno I just wanted to show you guys right now. I'm not going to do it because, Dan, we're out of time, but I'll just show you when you guys are using it. There's these things down here that say add vocal and add instrumental. And I just want to, like, when I give you guys all Suno today, you can try both of these out. So let's say you produced a beat and you just need vocals over the top. You can just say add vocal, and then you can type in whatever lyrics you want and get top line for your vocals. And I know a lot of us who produce dance music, it's kind of hard to find vocals a lot of times. So it's dope. You can upload your song and then get it to generate a vocal track. And what's even crazier, let's say you're working with a songwriter and you're in a session and they're trying to figure out top line melodies. We have this thing called mumble mode in here. And what it does is it just generates top line melodies on top. And then it'll even say like kind of words and stuff. And then you can then write your lyrics to those mumbles. And then that also goes reverse, just like that faithful acapella I had. I could put that in and have it generate full instrumentals underneath too as other options too. So I'm showing you this as it's an ideation machine. It doesn't produce full tracks today. Who knows? But it doesn't do it today. Go ahead, bro.
Is there a way, like, say you have a vocal track that's like a little out of tune or whatever that you normally need to take into Melodyne to fix or whatever?
Yeah.
Can Suno do that?
Oh yeah. It does it so well.
Fix the vocal?
Oh yeah. My voice is raspy and low, and I sing horribly, and I can put it in there and it tunes it up. Yeah. So what I would say for you, like, are you a vocalist? Is that it or no? So what you can do is then you could upload their voice. Let's say you have another song of theirs. You could upload that and make a persona of that voice. And then whatever they sing, you can then use that persona. Because like the persona, like I don't know if you guys remember, I did the guitar tone over the top. So let's say they have a super polished mixed song. You can make a persona of that. And then if they just do a shitty iPhone take, you could put that persona on top and it'll sound like the studio mastered song, if that makes sense. So it's even a way of like, let's say you don't have the way to rent a nice studio with a nice microphone, but you did it once before, you could take a persona of that and then just have it do that. And one other thing I'll say on the vocal side of things, let's say you need them to do a verse 2 and they're not able to come into the studio and do a verse 2, you can type in lyrics and it'll sing in their voice of that original one too. Like we can convert the happy birthday song to say some crazy stuff too. But yeah. Yes.
Regarding the synthesis of sounds, like for example, the cello, is it using some sort of like physical modeling, or is it like sample based?
It's all samples. Like I showed earlier, like it understands what a cello looks like visually. It's like it's training it on. There's a bunch of text that represents what a cello sounds like, and that's what it's pulling from. It's taking white noise and making a cello out of white noise. But by having a bunch of data of what a cello is, if that makes sense. Yeah.
This is a cello sound. So sound cello, right?
Yeah.
My question is if it's generating it like in physical modeling, or how is it?
No. Like we were talking earlier, he was saying it's making a whole entire song. It's doing it reverse. Like there's no back end, there's no MIDI, there's none of that. Like you have to think about it in a totally different way. It's not even doing it. Yeah. It is, dude. Silly putty's a good way of looking at it. Like you're sculpting out the white noise to be whatever it is, but the machine's just able to do it so crazy, like so much. Yeah. I don't know if I'm not to talk to other things. I'll be here, whatever. But yeah.